you as we go through this, and I'm going to be doing some talking, so you want to jot down some things on your notes. On the back of this paper, do not write anything. Only write on the front, because the back is reserved for some other notes that we're going to be taking. All right, so look for the lyric that says, all these natural resources here today, gone tomorrow. That's the very first line. What do we mean by that? Isn't that wasting it if we're going through it way too fast? Yeah, we're not reserving it. So, for instance, like if we're cutting down rainforests and we're cutting down forests too fast. Yeah, it's a natural resource. So, and this is a renewable one. Trees, they do grow back. However, if we cut them down quicker than they can grow back, then what are we doing? We're wasting it, and we're not being able to utilize it properly. So, that's one thing you want to write, not using things properly or being wasteful. The second line, or this may start to go like line by line, but then it'll break up. But the next part, fossil fuels like natural gas and oil. What this is talking about is natural gas and oil comes from fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are as old as the fossil. The reason why you see a picture here is because it is a fossil. And what happens is, where are fossils located? 400 billion years old, or million years old. Not billion, million years old. So therefore, these natural gas and these oil comes from organisms that died millions of years ago. Because we dig in the ground, we get the coal that comes from carbon, and every living thing has carbon, and we dig up and we're able... No, not in our lifetime. Because we definitely cannot bring this organism back to life, have it die again, bury itself back deep in the ground, and then dig it back up and get that natural gas and that oil. We have to wait for other organisms to die, and it will never happen in our lifetime, because none of us will live millions of years old. And if that was possible, I don't think I would want to do it. All right. And you could do that if you have a legacy, so create one. All right, the lyric. Look for the lyric that says, because they keep our houses warm and cars moving. What is the they? Fossil fuel, or the natural gas and the oil. Before any of us were born, including me, as old as you all think I am, and I'm not, people used to heat their house with the oil. And then you have gases that actually now you turn on your thermostat and things of that nature. But, and then we all know that our cars need gas for moving. But that's what it talks about. And notice it says we dig deep and we pull them up. Why? Because we need to be able to heat our houses and we need our cars to move. Does that say we shouldn't do it? No, it just says we have to be more mindful when doing it. And they're over millions and millions of years old. This is what we're talking about, this fossil fuel. The gas that you go to the Mobil station or the BP or the Kangaroo or the QT, right? Quick Trip. All of that gas that we're using is millions of years old, because it comes from the deep down fossils. That's when people dig in coal mines. It comes deep, deep down from there. It's not something that just was created yesterday. It's a million years old. All right? So sometimes you think maybe they're increasing the prices to deter people from buying gas, because we need to take some time before we can get some more. All right? Now, why one Mobil station next to the other is 10 cents more expensive than one, I have no idea why that happens. All right, once we use them up, they're gone forever. What is this them? The natural gases, the fossil fuels, the oils. Once we use them up, this is an example of a location where we're able to dig into the deep grounds of the water to get the fossil fuel. And once we use them up, they're gone forever. Forever like in forever, ever, forever, ever, or forever like in our lifetime, which is forever to us, right? Yep. All righty. The next lyric is, and we're cutting down our trees too fast. What do you mean we're cutting them down too fast? I got to build a house. What does this mean? Huh? You're not giving them time to grow. We're cutting down more than what's there, or cutting it down quicker than what we can get more trees back. Are we good? Okay. The next lyric that we're going to look at is our forests are disappearing. Yeah, we'll reap what we sow. And this is one of your blanks. Now, these resources, and the next line says, these resources are great. We use them every day. The reason why you have a pill bottle here is because lots of medicine that are used are from natural resources. Now, some of the medicines that we buy at the over-the-counter and some of the medicines we do get from our pharmacists are not natural. They're synthetic. But the one thing that we want to keep in mind is if we start to destroy our earth and we destroy these natural resources, which are natural herbs, and I know the first thing you are thinking like marijuana, that's the first thing on your mind, then we have to start reverting to synthetic medicines. And we've all seen more and more commercials. If you or a loved one has died from using, because we have used so many of our natural resources that now we have to come up with these synthetic things because they're quicker to make anyway, and they're causing harm to our body because they're not natural. Are you going to ask me a question about marijuana?
No.
What?
Wait, because they're not natural, is that why like the side effects be worse?
Yes, because your body has to process them, break them down, and all that stuff. Now, if we go to areas where maybe we have American Indians, they don't use prescription drugs and drugs from a store. And Amish communities, they don't use stuff like that. They use what the earth has provided because it's natural and nature. And I know, again, a lot of you, again, are thinking marijuana, which is a natural herb that comes from the earth. But it's not, it is addictive, just like, not crack because that's not natural. Cocaine comes from the earth. The product that it's made from the cocoa plant comes from the earth. But that also is chocolate, which is from the cocoa plant. But it is natural, but it is very addictive because of the potency. And it becomes dependent. So it's not something like, oh, it comes from the earth, so I could smoke it. No. Those type of drugs, like the cocoa plant, is in like hydrocodone, which is a very, very potent medicine for people who are in pain that is given at a dose that will not be addictive, but some people misuse them. Marijuana is a plant that is used in some pharmaceutical areas or hospitals or medical areas for people that have chronic pain. Not, oh, I got a headache, so I'm just going to roll up. No, it is people who are suffering from severe medical issues like cancer and people who have pains that are unbearable. They can't walk, they can't function in everyday life. Then the doctor does prescribe things like that in a small dosage for them to use appropriately, not misuse. Snoop Dogg over there thinking about it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Those type of things that become debilitating, which means that you cannot function. It's not like, oh, I got a headache or I got cramps, but I can sit here and still function. Like, I can't do anything, like those migraines and things of that nature. All right. These renewable resources could be the right track. So when we look down and we find that verse, that is the paragraph where it starts off. So how do we fix this problem? When our factories and cars, planes use gas, because we know we need them for that. But we can turn these resources we can turn to resources that come back, which are the renewable resources, the stuff that can be renewed in our lifetime. Right here we have solar panels. We've all used calculators that have been powered by solar power, where you put it and it turns on and you don't have to put batteries, because batteries, we are not supposed to dispose of them in the trash can, and we all are guilty of it, including myself, because it does damage our earth. But if we use solar panels uses the sunlight, and the sunlight is renewable, and it'll help power things, which is why we have hybrid cars and things of that nature that are now out there. You're supposed to take them to a disposable location. Because the trash goes to a landfill, and batteries can't. They have stuff in them. All right. The next one, take when the stuff you'll never kiss goodbye. What does that mean?
When
it's always going to be there. So you never kiss it goodbye. This means when it says take when the stuff you'll never kiss goodbye, this is talking about let's use wind. For instance, wind will power a windmill, which helps produce electricity, as opposed to using batteries and things of that nature. It's blowing 24/7, 365. What does that mean? Every day, all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We protect our planet. That's damage control. What does that mean?
If we use the wind,
Not just wind.
well, natural resources.
That are
Renewable.
renewable. Because in my time, when I was your age, I would not have thought that we've been in the era that we are in now. We've all watched the news, and if you haven't, you still have heard. Every single day, it seems like they're coming up with an area whose well is contaminated. And people have to have bottled water now. Think about Flint, Michigan. They're still suffering from the mercury that was in the water. And every day, which is why I buy bottled water now in containers of water, because who's to say that tomorrow it won't be the area, my area that I'm in, that's already been contaminated. So you have to take precautions. And when we protect our planet, what this is saying is, in my time when I was younger, they always talked about saving the planet and doing things in nature. Don't dump stuff in the oceans and stuff like that. Now that's common nature because my generation started to realize that that's a problem. However, now we don't realize the companies and the factories that are polluting into the water. They've been doing that for so long that now we have to realize that. So if each of us take individual steps to do what it is that we can do to minimize our carbon footprint, which means our mark on the earth that damages the earth, then that could help. We have to only can be responsible for ourselves, because if we don't, then we're going to create damage for us later and for your future generation, your children and your children's children. So it's very important. When we think about damage control, think about those of you who play a sport. Before you play a sport, what's the first thing that you can do even before you practice? Stretch, because you're doing damage control so that you don't cause damage. So if you do things right now to help protect the earth, don't think that, oh, it's going to just fix itself. It's not. All right, and then it says, and the world we love will continue to exist. The world will be here, but we want it to be here in a way that we can live in it. We don't want to have to buy bottled water, because eventually that's going to run out, because where do they get that from? Natural springs and areas of that nature. So we want to be able to turn our faucets on and use our water and clean our bodies without knowing that we're going to be harmed. We want to be able to cook. We want to be able to have trees that we can breathe and animals not dying and dying out, so we can have food that we can eat and not cutting down their homes. Does that make sense? All right. Yes, definitely. Well, we have to be careful with the type of things that we emit into our air. All right. So what we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and actually take some notes on the back. And you have colored pencils because you can do it in color, and that's what I'm going to do as well. You can do it in your pencil. I can't raise this too high because I'm 6'1" and the board is 7 foot. So if I put it too high, then I won't be able to see. I mean, right. Okay? All righty. So if you turn your paper to where the holes are at the top, like this, these three things represent the holes. We're going to go ahead and we're going to title this Natural Resources, because that's what we've been talking about. There are two types of natural resources. What are they? Renewable and non-renewable. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to put this tape on here because it's sliding. We're just going to split this in half. And on one side, we're going to go ahead and write the non-renewable. And on the other side, we're going to write renewable. Now, everybody cannot be a perfect artist like me. So, if you cannot draw as perfect as me, then draw it the best that you can. But what you will not do is criticize my perfect art, because yours can't be as perfect as mine. Does that make sense? All right, so when my artwork comes up here perfect, don't be upset. Don't cry your little eyes out. Oh, Miss Wiggins draws so awesomest. All right, where do we got to start? What do you want to start with first, renewable or non-renewable?
Renewable.
Renewable? Awesome, the awesome mister. All right. Renewable, can that be replaced or can that not be replaced? It can be replaced.
Drawing's terrible.
It can be replaced in our lifetime. What that means is nature replaces it over and over, or again and again. Now here's where your feeling's going to get hurt, because this is when my drawings get perfect. Alrighty? So what are some renewable resources? The sun is a renewable resource. So wait, I can't draw that fast. I'm a genius, Jenny, but I still need time. Geniusness takes time. So we definitely have the sun, and it's yellow, so you might not be able to see from back there, but because I said it's the sun, then just draw a sun. What else is a renewable resource?
Water.
Water is definitely a renewable resource. Now, don't get jealous of this water, because I know you can't do it as good as me. Oh my goodness. How dare you? Water. Now, do your best. Do as best as you can. What else is a renewable resource? The wind. For sure. What else? Thank you. What else is a renewable resource? Perfect. Trees, definitely plants. There you go. So plants are renewable. Is there anything else? What about what's under plants? Soil. Soil is definitely renewable. Now, guys, don't get jealous. You can't get no better than that. No better than that. Nobody's going to do perfect than me. All right. What else? You're missing one. I actually had one a year ago.
A baby.
Which is a baby is considered a what?
Animal.
An animal. A people, an animal. The food that we eat is there. So therefore, we have animals. Now, let's see. What kind of animal do I want to draw? I'm going to draw a cow. Now, guys. Okay, so don't get jealous. So here's my cow head. My cow has these ears, because cows are black and white, some of them.
That's an udder.
This is the face. This is my cow looking at you like this, right? Because it does. And so then, again, it's looking at you. So here's the body, because they're looking straight at it, right? You gotta stay with me. And then, of course, now I wonder. Here's the question I asked myself: is why it's called a fat cow? Why are some cows brown or tan, and why are some cows spotted? What makes them spotted? I know it's the genes, but what?
The area.
Is it the area, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I'm asking. There you go. And then, that's what Tyler said.
You didn't draw his udder.
This. Oh, it has to be a woman. What if it was a male?
It's a bull.
Then thank you. All right. So animal. You could draw a cow, but I know you'll have a hard time drawing it as good as me. or you could draw another animal, or you could draw a person, but don't cry. Stop crying, because I know. Yes. Because they have breasts to milk.
So they're called bulls. They got teeth. Oh.
Ma'am. All right. For the non-renewable resource, what should we write for non-renewable resource? No, I don't want examples. Cannot be replaced when? In our lifetime. Because it's a natural resource, it can be replaced, but not in our lifetime. Cannot be replaced in our lifetime. So it cannot be replaced quickly enough to meet our needs. What I need you to do is take your computers out, but just set them on your desk, open them up so they're on because we'll need them at the end.
I don't have one.
Then you have to share with somebody.
I don't want to.
I'm sorry. So what are some examples of some non-renewable resources?
Fossil fuels.
Fossil fuels. So, okay, don't get mad because you don't know how to draw this as good as me. You can draw a swirl if you want for your fossil fuels. So I'm just going to draw this to represent a fossil and a fossil fuel. And this leads to natural gas and oil.
You feel like daycare.
Just like daycare. What else? And I'm going to put here, I'm going to draw some oil.
What is that? Oh,
These oil drips. Here's my oil. Looks like oil because that's exactly what it is. All right, what about this? Now, this one is going to stump you a little, and it's okay. Let me draw it first before you guess. Ma'am. A ring. Now, what is the ring made up of?
Diamond.
Okay, you have the diamond. This would be rocks. Rocks are natural resources that are non-renewable. Gold is a metal, which is a natural resource that's non-renewable. And then we also have minerals. A ring on it. You never seen such a cool diamond. What about the stuff that you put in your cereal? Has minerals in it though. The stuff that you put in your grill when you're cooking hot dogs or hamburgers. Coal.
Charcoal.
I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. And I'm just gonna put it on wheels because we do have to mine for it, and I'll put it in a cart. Only because I don't want to hurt your feelings by drawing a grill with burgers and hot dogs on it because that would be a perfect drawing for real, and then you'll be sad. I can't. I should not have. How dare you? All right. And then don't forget about, we have our oil and then our natural gas. Let's represent our natural gas with stuff that looks like. Thank you, Aria. Only a genius would be able to see genius work. Basically. All right. So you have your oil, you have your natural gas, which comes from fossil fuel. You have your rocks, your minerals, your metals, your coal. These are also natural resources that are non-renewable. Why are they non-renewable? Because they cannot be replaced in our lifetime, and they cannot be replaced quickly enough for us to use because they come from millions and millions of years of things. Now, what you need to do right now is, again, open your computers, and you need to actually go to Kahoot.
What's the difference between rocks?
Rocks, you have certain minerals. You have like they're like almost one and the same, but I can't think off the top of my head right now. Yeah. All right, and this concludes the lesson for this. We're just going to play Kahoot, but make sure you take your notes for this lesson.